Welcome back to another Tutorial Tuesday. Today we're diving into some more advanced F122 tips. In this video we'll go over braking, throttle and steering techniques. As per usual, we'll use the track titan analysis to help us along the way. And consider subscribing if you don't want to miss any future uploads. If you've ever watched a beginner's tutorial on braking, someone probably taught you to brake in a straight line, then fully come off the brakes and only then to start turning in your car. Because this keeps the car stable, it is really safe. However, it's not actually the fastest way to drive into a corner. So that's where trail braking comes in. So let's dive straight into what trail braking is about, and as the name suggests, it's about trailing off the brakes. Instead of just going on and off, you're actually gradually coming off the brake pedal. Let's take a look at this example. We get on the brakes quite punchy as the wheels are completely straight. But the moment you start turning in, you gently come off the brakes because the grip is now used for slowing down and turning the car into the corner. Now, why should you trail brake into a corner? Well, the reason is twofold. First of all, it enables you to brake much later because you have part of your braking distance into the corner. Secondly, you keep the weight of the car over the front wheels. By staying on the brakes quite deep into the corner, we put more weight on the front of the car, thereby increasing the available grip, which just means we can carry more speed into the corner, and that's what trail braking is all about. You can see the effects of trail braking beautifully in this track titan analysis, where the car that's not using trail braking is shown in orange and the trail braking car is shown in blue. We see that our trail braking car is coming gradually off the brake pedal, while the slower car is releasing it quite abruptly. Because of this, the balance of the car shifts from front to back, resulting in less grip, which is why the slower car has to brake again to prevent the car from running wide. All the while, the faster blue car can gradually get back on the throttle and build up speed to exit the corner, making them almost half a second faster throughout this corner alone. Be sure to practice trail braking because it can be a little difficult to get the hang of when you start out, but it's a surefire way to get faster through almost every corner. So there's a lot to gain by trail braking if you aren't already doing it. You might think there's not much to applying throttle in the right way. You just get on the power as soon as you can and you're done. Well, that's not exactly how it works. One of the most common mistakes we see drivers make on track is not being patient enough and actually getting on the throttle too early. And this might help you with getting through the corner a tiny bit faster, but it will slow you down on the following straight. Now, why is this? When going through a corner, your front tires want to use all their grip for turning. That's why trail braking helps you so much with cornering, because you're loading more weight over the front tires, increasing their available grip in the process. Now, what happens when you start to accelerate? Exactly, the weight of the car shifts back to the rear tires and you'll experience understeer, which makes it harder to get through the corner. And you'll notice this especially in long winding corners. This understeer will prevent you from going flat out as early as possible, resulting in a lower top speed on the section right after the corner. By being a little more patient and staying off of the throttle, you can get on full power earlier, resulting in a stable exit onto the following straight where you'll come out ahead of anyone who got on the power too early. Now let's analyze the difference in this track titan analysis. Again, we see the slower car in orange and the faster one in blue. As you can see in the throttle analysis, the orange car is getting on the throttle earlier, trying to keep the speed high, but they have to come off of it because they're experiencing understeer. All the while, the blue car is patient and gets on the throttle just a tad later, but they can gradually build up speed and run onto the following straight with much more top speed in the end. Getting on the power at precisely the right moment is a difficult task and requires a lot of practice. F1 cars are furiously fast, but always getting on the power as early as possible isn't the quickest way around a circuit. Sometimes you need to be a little more patient to be even faster. Now let's go over some common mistakes people make with their steering and how to solve them. The two biggest issues you'll come across are over and understeering. We'll dive into understeer first, definitely one of the most annoying problems out on track, but we see a lot of drivers try to solve this in the wrong manner. They're actually turning in too much. Why your car isn't turning can be caused by multiple reasons actually, and how much you turn the steering wheel isn't one of them. Let's go over some physics first. A car has a certain turning radius. When you're going slow, this radius is a lot smaller than when you're going faster. This is because it takes energy to change a moving object's trajectory. And the faster that object, aka your car, moves, the more energy it takes to get it to move in a different direction. A great example is a bicycle. A standing bike falls over rather quickly, but when you've got some speed, you'll stay upright more easily. Anyway, let's take it back to F1 cars. When you're coming to a corner with a great deal of speed and you want to get the car to turn into it, instinctively you want it to slow down. When you don't slow down enough, you'll experience understeer. This is because your front tires don't have enough grip or energy to change the direction of your car. Imagine your tires to have a set budget to spend, but they can only spend it on 3 things: accelerating, turning, and slowing down. If you've been paying attention, these are all actions that change the trajectory of your moving car. So what happens when you're experiencing understeer and you steer in even more? Your car is going in one direction and your tires are pointed in another. This causes friction, and friction leads to heat. Your tire temperatures rise, which cause them to lose even more grip. So how can you actually solve this? You must manage your grip budget better. For starters, you can slow down somewhat more before you turn in. If you're not trail braking already, learn how to do that. And leave the throttle alone if you're experiencing understeer, because getting on the power will shift the weight of the car to the rear and rob your front tires of even more grip. And while we're on the topic of problems with grip, let's dive into oversteer as well. Oversteer is when you expect to turn a certain amount, but your car has other plans and wants to turn a lot more than you had anticipated. This might result in a spin or you having to correct the steering, but both result in losing you time. When you're coming out of a corner, you want to accelerate as much as possible, but speeding up shifts the weight to the rear, which means your front tires have less grip. This makes your steering very loose already. Combine this with potential wheel spin of the rear tires and your car becomes an unguided missile and you're a passenger from that point on. So how can you solve this? Be gradual on the throttle when you're not in a straight line to make sure your tires have enough grip to speed up and keep turning. Don't just floor it as soon as you see the exit of a corner. Let's conclude the video by going over the key points one more time. Trail braking is an important skill to learn. It keeps the car balanced into corners and it makes you faster through almost any corner. Definitely a skill you'll need to pick up if you want to level up your racing. Learning when and where to apply the right amount of throttle is vital in becoming a faster racer as well. It may be a little counterintuitive at the start, waiting patiently before getting on the throttle, but once you learn to time it right, you'll be flying past the competition on straights. Understeering can be solved by supplying your front tires with the grip they need. This can mean that you need to slow down, learn to trail brake or let off the gas, but turning your steering wheel more when experiencing understeer only heats up the tires more and will cause even more understeer. And lastly, oversteer on exit can be a real troublemaker. But again, this can be solved by proper throttle discipline. Gradually get on the throttle when you drive out of a corner to keep the car stable and supplied with ample grip. And that's everything we've got for you today. We hope you've learned something. Let us know in the comments if you have any questions, and we hope to see you in the next one.